Okay, on this video I'm going to use a broken piece of lavender chert. It's got kind of a nice lavender color to it, very translucent, but it's going to be a lot smaller than the last one. Just to show you guys how small it's possible to go. I'll probably keep it fairly wide. We'll see. This is a very brittle material, so it might just snap. In which case I'll have to get a different piece. And this will also be a side notch point, unless something happens and I decide to make a stemmed point. If I can't get it thinned down, maybe, but I should be able to get it thinned down without breaking it. Okay, so it's going to end up probably a little bit less than an inch long. Which is, you know, well within the range of real arrowheads. Some of them are about an inch long. Okay. I think I might want to make it more narrow. Yeah. The reason why I'm doing that is because the notches will look better if it's more narrow than if it's wide and I can't get the notches very deep. I'm using this tool here, mallet, aluminum mallet. I started using the plastic mallet, but I think I like the aluminum a little bit better, except with glass and obsidian. But I get a feeling I'll be using the aluminum mallet for that too, just because it's easier. I may have ground that down a little bit too much. I can't get a grip on the edge. Try to do the whole thing with pressure, but I like the percussion because I can take larger flakes and get it thinned down without worrying too much about snapping because of the pad. Yeah, I may have ground it down a little bit too much. Bringing it over to the side a little bit because I'm hitting the camera. some step fractures, but I'll take that out in a little bit. I'm going to make the base concave. Okay, if I go too much thinner, I'm going to break it for sure. But I'm going to try some pressure to see if I can thin it down at the tip a little bit more. And then I'll put some notches in here. I think I might notch the base too. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure they had the triple notch style in the Northwest. I think they did, but I'm not going to do it. Okay. Should probably do the notches before anything else. Just in case it breaks. Just a little work on the symmetry. Okay. Now they used points like this without any notches at all also, but that's kind of cheating. I could just stop it right there and say, yep, that's the point. Simple triangle. Yeah, should wait to do the tip. Okay. So I could stop at that. I'm not going to. I'm going to put some notches in, but let's see if I can get some of that translucency showing. Alright, so it's 19 minutes. Got a few more minutes left. Let's see if I can do these notches. That was a good pop out. Luckily it didn't do anything, didn't do any major damage. Sometimes it'll take off a barb when you try a very hard pressure flake to make a good pop out. I think I stalled it. There we go. I wasn't keeping track of the angle of a tool. It gets worn down. And if you don't keep track of the angle of the tip of the tool, it's hard to pop out those flakes. And what I mean is, it'll get, I can't show you very clearly here, but it'll get flat. Or it'll look diagonal. You know, as you're crunching in, that metal will wear out toward the bottom there, and it'll get a diagonal type of flat spot. And you gotta flip it over from time to time, or just dress it up. But I don't like dressing it a lot because I lose the kind of lose the zone if I have to interrupt myself. A little bit deeper on this other side. If I can. I think I've stalled it on that side. Alright. They don't have to be perfectly symmetrical, of course. It just looks better that way. These aren't going to be symmetrical. The notches are one is kind of bigger than the other. One of the challenges I have is to make these barbs and ears extremely thin like they were on the originals. I tend to make these ears thick just so they won't break. A lot of the originals are crazy thin. I don't know what I'm doing there. I think I'm having a hard time seeing the material. Yeah. I'm trying to thin it down, and all I'm doing is removing the length. I just broke some of the tip off. Now I got to try to make it thin again. The spatula tool isn't working quite right. Let's see. I think it's because I'm having a hard time seeing. I need to make a black pad probably. Let's see. I'm also doing some of this napping through the viewfinder because this one's a good viewfinder. But it's not that good. how it looks curved. It's hard to get the tips just right on these really small ones. I'm going to try one more time with the spatula tool to thin down that tip. The hard part about thinning with the spatula tool is it usually takes a flake only to the center. It doesn't run long flakes, so the center stays thick. The edges can get thinned down, but the center stays thick with the spatula tool. I'm not going to mess with it. Okay, it's reaching the time limit. It's already 32 minutes. Okay, so translucency looks pretty good. The barbs are delicate. Okay. Picture for the thumbnail. That notch came a little bit better. I like the way it expands at the bottom, but this one had to go through some thicker material, so it was wider in general. Okay.